All right, guys. Well, let's get started now. So welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to this panel discussion on the civil disobedience movement in Myanmar. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kevin Gu, and I'm a high school student currently attending Choate Rosemary Hall. Since becoming interested in politics in Southeast Asia, I've been learning more about the situation in Myanmar. Before I introduce the speakers, I would like to give a little background information about what is happening. On February 1st, 2021, the democratically elected leader of Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi, was detained, and the government was taken over by the military. The coup resulted in protests all over the country, with many protesters being killed or arrested. Now, many of the protesters are facing great financial difficulties. They're struggling to provide for their families. Some have already been forced to leave the protests and return to work. The purpose of today's panel is to spread awareness about the terrors the people in Myanmar are facing, and hopefully to raise some money to help them. I will post a GoFundMe link in the chat, and if you are able to, I hope you can consider donating to this cause. All right, now let's get to know the speakers a little bit. First up, we have Susu. Susu, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, hello, my name is Susu. Currently, I'm in Australia right now. I moved Burma since 2018. I came here since 2018. Yes, I'm doing a lot. Currently, I'm doing fundraising for the CDM because we have a lot of CDM in my home village at the moment. And also we are facing with the third COVID at the moment. So yes, I am working for the CDM. To do fundraising for them as well. Yes.
All right, thank you, Susu. Next up, we have Minyo. Minyo, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah. I am Minyo, and I'm Chin ethnic from Myanmar. So before talking about myself, firstly, I want to show my appreciation and my gratitude for Kevin and also Megan for coordinating this fundraising online panel discussion. They are the two persons who are not directly affected by the atrocity going on in our country, yet they are taking an interest, and also they are, more than that, they are willing to support us in any way they can. So that kind of commitment, and I think very much needed for this planet, because of the COVID-19. And also when we already know that, I think we all come to agree that like the global challenges like COVID pandemic, world peace, all those kind of things like terrorism, global warming, all those kind of things, I think we all have to come together to work for that. Not a single country alone can protect its citizen for that to address the global challenges. So I'm so happy to be part of this. So to talk about myself, I'm just an ordinary citizen from Myanmar. Prior to for my profession, I work as a social worker in the nonprofit sector. So I have been taking part in the peaceful protest and also a part of this civil disobedience movement. Also financially supporting for the worker who lost their job in doing so, who leave their job in joining in this CDM civil disobedience movement. So yeah, I think for further detail about our movement and then what is going on the ground, I think we can further discuss in later parts. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Minyo. That was really powerful. So our third speaker today is Samo Min Win. Mo Min Win, what is your background with Myanmar and CDM?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm very happy to see you all and to be part of this fundraising event. I'm Somo Min, and now I live in the southern part of Goguryeo. Last 1 year ago, I was studying in Chiang Mai University. Yeah. After I graduated from Chiang Mai University, I came back to work with H1A, Harmonious Youth Association, and worked for 1 year, and then the military coup happened. So we moved to another area. So for the CDM movements, I think our organization is working closely with the CDM participants, who is the leader of CDM participant in our area, with the local leaders, parliamentary leaders, So I'm very happy to be joining the CDM movement. Yes, because this is one way to, this is one of the best way to end the military dictatorship. But there's a lot of challenges and difficulty that the CDM participate are facing. But they have strong determination. So I'm very happy to be part of this fundraising event to help for the CDM participants. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mo Min Win. All right, last but not least, we have Su Su Sui. Su Su Sui, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I think you might be muted over there.
Sorry, I'm not so used to it. Okay. Hi, everyone. Good morning for you. Good evening for me. Thank you having me. And also thank you the organizer to make this event happen. Yeah. My name is Sususe. I am women human rights activist. I live in very further south of Burma in the map, a little thing. So I am in liberated area right now after the police in the security post, or let's say security post before, but no more security post now. So the coup are trying to search me at my home. That's why I moved to the liberated area already around 3 months here. Yes, nice to see you all.
All right, thank you, Su Su Sui. Okay, now that we're familiar with the speakers, we can get started with the discussion. But before we do so, I want to once again remind you to please consider donating, of course, if you're able to. The money will go straight towards helping families and CDM work in Myanmar. We really appreciate any help you give. Just 100,000 carats or 61 US dollars can help a family put food on the table for 1 to 2 months. Other than that, let's get started with the panel. Some of you may have some questions for our speakers during the panel, but please hold your questions until the last 10 minutes where we'll hold a Q&A session. All right, now our first question is, as people who are actually involved with Myanmar and interact with the people there on a day-to-day basis, can you give us an update on the current situation? And Minyo, what do you think about that?
Hello. Okay. Firstly, I want to just reference the Association for like AEPP, which is supporting the political prisoner in our country. They have this data, and then up to today, they have already like 1,009 people already dying because of this coup, and also 7,400 people are already arrested, and also 1,019 over 9,900 also are warranted and charged for legal charges for taking part in this civil disobedience movement, and also over 5,000 people are already inside the prison. So those people included who are joining this CDM movement included like medical doctor, a private doctor, politician, activist, education profession, journalists, artists, celebrity, all those people who are taking part in this CDM movement directly or supporting this CDM movement one way or another. They are targeted for those kind of things. So that is the basic statistic about what is going on in the country up to now. And also other than that, I think we are now having a lot of difficulty, especially in CDM. We have different kind of CDM, different people have different role to play. So some of those people are who are civil servant and also who are taking part in this state-run business and also state-run program, bureaucratic administration, education, healthcare program. All those people are having like, it has been about already over 6 months. So they have to survive 6 months without no income. So for the public people, for the citizen, for the people, we are trying our best to support them financially. Yeah, we cannot cover them all because of there are a lot of other problems, but socio-economic problem, and also our economy is also in jeopardy in crisis after the COVID-19 pandemic, and also after this political turmoil. Because of that, they are having quite a hard time. Yes, some people they got support for their income, for not income, to barely survive. But there are some other people who are trying to find some mini alternative job. Even though they are teacher, they are professional, educated person, they try to find some mini job like working as a daily worker for the construction, or maybe in farming. All those kind of, they are trying their best to do. So I would say, in a nutshell, we are still going strong for this movement. All those people, we have lost a lot of people. A lot of people have job. A lot of people are facing a lot of difficulty. Yeah, we are still going strong. Even those people who are arrested already inside the prison, they are still trying to protest even inside the prison. So the peaceful protest is still going on right now, even though there are lots of difficulty for them to do so. So I would say that we are still going strong, but at the same time, it is such a hard time for our people, for everyone who is taking a part of this CDM movement.
Thank you for that, Minyo. Yeah, I think oftentimes, if we read about the situation in Myanmar in the news, we kind of get the idea that there's a lot of difficulties, but hearing kind of about the specifics from it, about someone, who's currently experiencing that, I think that's really powerful. All right, our next question is, how and why did the CDM start, and how has it changed over time? Susu, what can you say about that?
Okay, so basically CDM started from the people frustration, we can say that, but the first initial starter of the CDM will be doctor and teacher. Basically, as we know, last year 2020, as the whole world was facing with pandemic, so do our country. So doctor and medical staff were the front soldier. We say that they are the front soldier who trying their best, like volunteer in the COVID quarantine center to fight the COVID, to fight this pandemic, as well as like they try their best. They were voluntarily, and also they work with the democratically elected government. So the government also, the Aung San Suu Kyi government also trying their best to bring the vaccine into the country. So it was like doctor, we are very happy, and then they see the beam, like they see the beam that okay, this is the time that they will have a time to take a rest, because we were the first country around like last year November December, like the first country in Asia that we got the first dose of vaccine already. So but out of nowhere in February, 1st of February, the military coup started, and the doctor were so angry. So that's why they were the first person and the first group of people who started the CDM. The second group about CDM will be, we can say, the teacher, because teacher was like in our country, we believe that teacher is the most trustworthy people. So last year, as US was holding their election, like we also do our election at the same time. So teacher were asked to work the poll station, count the vote, and then like they observe the election process. But like as you see in the new, military was like said that the election result is a fraud, like it is not fair election, so they have to seek the power. So teacher were so angry, so they were participate in the anti military coup. So this is how CDM started. But like as the time go by, people were also joining more. So to say that like how it's changed, it was started with only a small group of people. We can say a small group of people, but around like it was started on February, but around March or like February, March, April, like military and police like publicly killing the people, shooting the people head. So a lot of people died on the road. So people were really angry. More people are joining. If I give you example, people like my auntie, she is a midwife in our township. So she was working as a midwife for 20 years already. So she doesn't understand what politics is. But like once you see like dead people are the number of the dead people are rising every day, she said, I don't understand politics, but I know what is right and what is wrong. This is the wrongdoing. So this is the very powerful way to bring down, like to stop this mechanism, the military mechanism. So I'm going to do I'm going to join the CDM. So more and more people like my auntie, they join the CDM. So it's become like, it started only from a small group of people, but it become like a nationwide. As a citizen, like even people in the Burma also, they started their own way of citizens, such as like they don't buy like the product that they're produced by the government, they don't pay the tax, they don't pay electric bill or something like that. Because if we keep paying the money, like if we keep paying the money to the military, they're going to buy the bullet and then they're going to keep killing us. So this is like the CDM started from the small group and then it spread like nationwide. Yes.
Thank you, Susu. I think that was very informative and very helpful for us. Okay, our next question is, do you feel the situation is getting worse or getting better? And what is the biggest challenge that CDM is currently facing? All right, Samo Min Win, let's start with you.
Okay, I think for my question, I want to answer for two parts. One part is getting better and another part is getting worse. For example, for the worst part, I think in Myanmar, because of the economic crisis and COVID-19, people are facing a lot of challenges and difficulties. People are dying each day because they don't get the good health care that they need to have. So that one is, so I think even and then last day the news we see and the death rate is include in the highest level in the world, Myanmar. The people dying from COVID-19. So another part will be the military has killed over thousands of peaceful protesters of the people in this country. So because of floodings or its consequence, people are having difficulties. So that is the worst part. And another part will be we are in each day moving to the biggest fight, because each day the fighting has occurred even in current state. And brigade fight, I think in July, brigade fight 3, 2, 1, the 4th brigade in July, the fighting time is over, I think 180 times. If we look at the KNU information department, even in July, the fighting has occurred in brigade fight, I think 58 times. So in each part of area, the fighting happens. So people are feeling nervous and the people are feeling hopeless because of economic crisis, family crisis, because of, I think include the CDM participants as well. They don't have income for over 6 months, or they need to run away from their place. They need to avoid the military soldiers and police. So in that perspective, I think the situation is getting worse. But for the good perspectives, I think we begin to see a new future, because we begin to see like there's the winning from the democratic sides, because we see the NUG government, they are making progress. They have created the government, the health department, the defense departments. So a lot of departments they have created. They also have discussion with the ethnic armed groups or ethnic leaders. They are working on that. We have seen even in the last month of this month, right, for the health department, Dr. Sindhya was being, the head department working with the NUG government. So even in the PDF groups, the government, I think the vice president last day have once about the fighting, and they said the ethnic armed leaders will lead the fighting if the fighting happens. So they are planning on that, and we feel a little bit, we have futures to win this war, But actually, there's a lot of way for winning this war, and to end the military dictatorship in this country, because the military dictatorship have been so strong, right? They have built over 50 years their background with mannings, with weapons. They have the best weapons compared to us, but we have seen the better future because of the citizen participation in this movement, whether the CDM participation movements, or I think for the CDMs, we have two parts, right? For the government staff, they are doing the CDM, but for the citizen, normal citizen like us, we are also doing the CDM because we don't participate in any of the government activities or the government requests. We avoid paying tax. For myself, I even have my goal to continue my master degree. But I'm thinking if I continue my master degree, I had to apply the visa, and if the military government control the visa issues, I think all my money or tax will go to the military. So I decided not to continue my future education or to continue to work on having the CDM participations or the young students in our area teach the English. So in this perspective, we have seen a lot of young leaders. So they are really participating in this movement because they begin to see the futures. And if we are falling into the dictatorship government, we have no future, right? They have different rules and regulations that control us. So we don't like that. We want freedom, justice, democracy, human rights. So that is why the CDN is strong, because a lot of CDN participants, whether the government staffs or whether the civil servants or the students and the young people, they keep fighting because they see they will have better futures. They want better education, better jobs, better opportunities, right? So in that perspective, I think we are moving into the right directions, and we will, the situation is getting strong and better. I think the international community also gain attention, right? The West or the US or the ASEAN, they are paying attention to Myanmar. What happened in Myanmar? The UNs or a lot of governments. They are also some government recognizing the NUG government. Now in Myanmar, we have two governments, right? The SAC, the State Administration Council government, and NUG government. But the people are listening to NUG government more than they listen to SAC, military government. If some rule and regulation put up by NUG or the SAC, people follow more on the NUG. Even last day, NUG is doing something, and people are buying, and the ticket is full. So we can see the support there. So in that perspective, I think the situation is getting better now. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Momin Win. I think that's definitely a very interesting perspective about how it's both getting worse in some ways and getting better in others. Okay, Minyo, what are your thoughts on the question?
Okay, but I think I'm going to give the floor first to Susu. Masu, are you ready? Or do you want me to go first?
Yes, I just, as like he said, like as I has and then my brother say, as well as like I said before, so CDM is like completely shutting down the mechanism of the military. So it's like a really dirty tax for the military. So they come back very harshly towards the CDM as well. Like they be sacked from their position, removed from their position, be arrested, be put in the jail. Those are the things that we know that we are going to face it, but we take that risk. Like they take that risk. So I really admire their tenacity. I really admire their sacrifices for the people. But like one of the good thing is like the among the CDM group, what we want to see like soldier, if military doesn't have any soldier, they cannot kill us. So this is the main thing that we want to see. But like it has been 200 days, 200 days, yeah, today 200 days from the military coup started, but more than 2,000 soldiers joining the CDM. So we want to see more. This is one of like the best thing, we want to see more soldiers joining the military. We want to see more soldiers joining the CDM. So then we don't have to fight military anymore. Yes, this is what the highlight that I want to give to. Yes.
I'm gonna join in. I'm gonna add a little bit more. So yeah, as Masu already said, and also Guso already mentioned that, like, even though civil disobedience movement, we have different part, and also which different people have to play different roles. Like, for example, as he already mentioned, it involves government staff not going to their work, and also like medical doctor and teacher who are also a part of the state-run education and healthcare program, not going to their work. That is also one part. And another one thing is peaceful protest is also part of our civil disobedience movement, and also not paying taxes, and also not paying any sort of fee that's gonna go into the pocket of the military government as a part of government revenue collection. We are trying that as well. At the same time, also we are asking our people to boycott all the military linked businesses, because in our country the military has been given too much power and too much privilege, because of they are only a lot of very billion-dollar businesses. So even though it might not mean a lot for us to do that, we are trying our best to boycott all those kind of products. And also another one thing would be like self-defense. That is also some part of the civil disobedience movement. So for the good things and bad things going on right now, I'm kind of pessimistic. So I'm gonna start with the bad thing. So right now, after the coup, and also after the coup, the financial sector in our country, the banking system is like collapsing. We can say that, like, there are shortage of cash, because the people, they don't trust the government, not the government, the one who is trying to be the government. They don't trust that person and that government anymore, because of that they are trying to withdraw all of their money, because saving your money on your own hand is like better than putting in the private banks, because if the economic crisis happen, if the bank broken, you have to lose all those. Because of those worry, because they don't trust this government, the people are withdrawing a lot of cash. Because of that, they are shortage of cash, and as a result, our currency exchange value is also very declining. And also like cash has been very such a, to get cash has been overvalued, because we have quite a developed digital finance system in our country. However, because of the shortage of cash, there are the public have to pay more, like 15% more, 20% more, in addition to the transaction cost to the agent or those people, because of the shortage of cash. Because of the people are having a lot of time. At the same time, the inflation prices are also very high right now, because after the COVID pandemic. Also, like in June, we have such a serious case of shortage of oxygen concentrator, and all those oxygen related equipment. The price gone like 3 times higher, at least 3 times higher. So because of that, the general people are also having a hard time. And at the same time, the inflation of the basic consumer product is also going very high. Because of that, also people are having such hard time. But there are some good news about on behalf of Myanmar people. There are some groups, some social groups, some youth, some people, they are trying to control the price. So even though the consumer, the price of like egg has been going very high, but what they are trying to do, that they're trying to control as much as they can, and also to punish all those cynical and very greedy business people, not to increase the price. Because of that, we are having some social group, they are selling the egg like just 50 baht, half of the inflation price, those kind of things. Like from the people, we are also trying to do all of that. Other than that, also another problem that we have to face is, like, of course, we are all trying to support all those CDM workers, especially from the government sector. However, we are having a lot of difficulty, because there are also some retaliation targeted at those support group, donation collector, like those kind of. We come up with our own group. We are started to ask for the donation, the small donation, to support our people. Actually, it's not that, even though we are having such hard time, we are still care about our government staff and also our medical professional, our teacher, who risk not only their job but also their life. They have been targeted for arrest, legal charges. Some already lost their life. All those kind of things. We are trying our best to do that, but the government has been, the military regime has been trying to retaliate on such book. There are some freezing of some bank account of the people who collected those kind of small donation, all those kind of things. Whoever they are suspicious of supporting CDM, whether financially or in any way, they are targeted for very severe violation of our right. You know, our bank, some people bank account already frozen, some are arrested. All those kind of things is very happening. So I think that's like what is really happening or not. But as I mentioned before, the good thing is like people are stay, even though they are having such a hard time, they are still trying their best way to deal with this very messed up atrocity.
Yeah, thank you, Susu and Minyo. I think that, of course, things are going to be very rough for the CDM, but I think that also demonstrates kind of the strength of the movement and all the participants in it, you know, how they're willing to move forward even through the difficult times to, you know, go for the improvements that you guys are seeing. All right, our next question. What made you decide to work with the civil disobedience movement? Susu Sway, let's start with you.
Okay, thank you for that, Kevin. So actually, Susu Imin pretty covered the issue of the CDM, the process. So I just would like to highlight some more the issue that is a little bit similar to the challenges in threat. But in the beginning, the CDM's movement, we encourage and then we also support. I'm the one who also joined to call the CDM to be involved because we know that the CDM movement is the less harmful in the cheapest way to restore democracy and peace. But in the other hand, the situation is worse and worse, more than our expectation. So right now, the military, the junta control bank account, especially digital bank account and banking system, because people support to the CDM, and then they are also stopping the. They want to stop the CDM support, so they control all the digital banking system. Also, destroying to the rushing for the CDM stars, because in the remote area, in the area, there are already conduct militia training to control the movement of, you know, like the politician who are actually involved in the democracy movement, so they want to stop it. That is why they train the villagers who are supporting to the military, so they give the militia training to some pro military people. So that kind of activity they are conducting in the area. Since I am living in the liberated area, I am also work with some of the CDM, especially for the particularly to the healthcare personals, healthcare professions. They are really pay for it. They were forced to move from the government's residence, from their apartment. So this is what they are facing. But in our situation that we are also trying to support for the CDM, uh, together with the NUG, and you know that the union, national union government also work really hard for that to support for the CDM. And then another thing is the NUG government also do sorry, The phone is ringing. They are also doing like a shadow lottery to. So this is how we are working on this. So I just wanted to go back a little bit to the overview, or also like the situation in the ground. A lot of CDM or democracy activists, especially women human rights defenders, they are hiding in the jungle in the summer than they really need, like humanitarian support, and then especially women who has young children and women the CDM a person who has a pregnancy. So this kind of the situation they are present in the jungle now. And then people were trying to buy cars to the military control business as much as they can. They are pretty good actually. So we generation Z who are less than 25 years old, they have strong commitment to fight to the hunter. This is the last fight for us because
Okay, so I think Sususe might be having some Wi-Fi issues. So when she gets back, we'll let her finish her what she had to say. But let's continue with Moment Win. What made you decide to work with the CDM?
Yes, I decided to work with the CDM movement because I think this is one of the ways to end the military dictatorship. We have a lot of ways, but I think this way is very perfect and unique because the CDM is something that's stopping the government. If the government don't have the government stuff, they cannot run the country. Now a lot of people are participating in this. So I'm joining the CDM movement. Another one is when we join this, the desire to join this movement, we feel very good because we feel like we're contributing back to this country and the way that we can help. I think this country is for the young people, they are hungry for change. They are hungry for change. They are hungry for better future, better education, better political system, better political system for their future. So if because of that, we joined the CDM movement. But you know, a lot of difficulties, right? When you join the CDM movement, for me is we are facing economic crisis, but that's okay. We're trying to find a way, you know, to do the fundraising to help other CDM participants. For other CDM movement, they face difficulty more than us because they have the families, right? Sometimes the military soldiers and police go after their family, right? I have one of my friends, you know, I have one of my friend, and she was doing the CDM movement, and then when sometimes when she called her mother phone, she was crying. She was crying. I feel very pitiful to her because of the military soldier and police go to arrest her mother and ask many questions. Where is your daughter is? You know, where is your son is? So I have seen a lot of that case. So that is why I'm very happy to join this movement to be part of this revolution. You know, I asked one of my friend who is the leaders of the CDM movement, who is helping teachers to do the CDMs. He said like, I feel like I'm a hero. You know, I'm a hero of this. I'm a hero of this fight, and I have a lot of the CDM participants. I feel proud of myself. I face a lot of difficulty challenges, but that's okay. This is for future generations, right? For future generation, a lot of future generation to come. You know, a lot of unborn children in this country, they are going to live with this dictatorship political system or this dictatorship rule. We don't want to see our children that. So that's why I think a lot of the CDM participants are thinking about that. They are thinking about for themselves, but they are also thinking about for their future generation. That's when we decided to join this movement. Yes.
Thank you, Mo Min Win. It looks like Susu Sui, you're back. I think your connection went away there for a second. Why don't you finish what you had to say?
Yeah, this is one of the challenges that we are facing. The internet connection is too bad in the jungle. So, yeah, I'm almost cover how we work with the CDM movement. Yeah, so I will come back later. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the CDM so far on this panel, but I think we've kind of failed to outline, what are like the specific goals of the CDM. I think that's pretty important for the audience to know. Susu, why don't we start with you?
Okay. The goal of CDM was like to stop the mechanism of the military government, because they were trying very hard to show the world that they are our government, but we don't want that to work. Well, like we don't like that. We basically started since the first of February. We don't like you. Get out of the government. We don't want you as a government. So that is our goal. But like, as I tell you, like it is a very challenging for the military. So military also react very harshly, and as you heard there, they arrest a lot of civil disobedient people, and also on top of that, if they cannot arrest the CDM, they arrest the family member. So this is like very challenging. One of the challenges the CDM facing right now, but as we see, like Thai passed by it has been 6 years, but CDM is really working. CDM is really working. We reach our goal. We can like completely shut it down, the military. If military try to kill or arrest you, that means like we really hurt them, we really hurt them. But if they try to arrest the CDM right now, so it is like CDM is really hurting them. So yes, we try to stop the mechanism. So as a citizen, for me, like as he said that some since I moved to Australia, like I be very feel like amazing how feel let out, but I can do something for my country. Even I'm out of my country, I can do fundraising and then send back the money into my home village to support the CDM. So like this is just like not only the goal, but like also like ourselves also, this is our goal. We feel like we are part of this revolution. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Susu. Because I want to leave time for some audience questions, I'll ask kind of the last question we'll have for our panel today. Okay, so why should people care about the situation in Myanmar, and how can we help? Minyo, what do you think?
Okay, so how to help, and why? Okay, that's a really good question. That would be the most that would be the most important question to answer in this session, so that the audience can support us. So firstly, I think like because this discussion is just like ordinary citizen organizing this, so I'm gonna just stick to about people to people support. Supporting, not about the political. Of course, politically, we are looking forward to the credential challenge that's gonna happen in September at the UN General Assembly. But for the people, of course, I have been thinking a lot about that, because as myself, I am not really feeling very comfortable to asking for financial contribution from the foreigner who are not directly affected by this incident. Directly, I mean, like, of course, indirectly, there can be some effect. So yeah, I think like it is important to care about Myanmar, because we are fighting against the injustice. Injustice that is just a common sense, like a basic thing. Other than that, of course, Myanmar is one of the geographically located in a strategic area in Southeast Asia. I would say that, because it can also the negative effect of this political crisis can also have a lot of problems in other countries. Myanmar is located between the two biggest countries, India and China, and also next to Thailand, which is one of the regional economic hub for this region. So we already have a lot of migrant workers already working in this country, and also lots of refugee already. All those kind of problems can impact the other country as well. That is just one reason. However, other than that, is why people should care about, especially those from US. Why should they support our movement? Because I find that simple answer that their support can mean a lot to us. Because in our country, our people are really looking forward to the support of especially those from Western democracy country. I think whether you might have it or not, like when the CNN journalists came to our country, they are hoping to share the story to the people from the international community. So in doing so, some people they just risk. They know that when the journalist is coming around Yangon, there are gender forces. The soldiers are shadowing, but even then, the Myanmar people they stay willing to share their story that they don't accept this coup. They want to resist this military dictatorship. All those kinds of, they really look forward to you guys, to the people from the Western, other government or other people, so that it really means a lot to us for the moral support and also for other aspects as well. And also another thing is like your leader support can mean a lot to us, because of I think the war has been like in current the war have different economic privilege. Because of that, I think we have different how to say, like different privilege in terms of our economic power earning. Like in that regard, as I mentioned before, like in Myanmar, even if you want to support this movement, even as a Myanmar citizen, if you want to support like even like 3,000, maybe 3,000, just maybe $1, $2, even if you are willing to, if you want to do that, you have to take a lot of risks, because they are monitoring all the financial transaction in the digital account, all those kind of, so you have to risk. And also, if they already announced that the military regime already publicly announced that whoever supporting CDM or National Unity Government, which is a necessary part of our CDM movement, and also other part of the CDM movement, they said that you can be charged, you can be arrested. You can also be arrested. You can be charged legally. All those kind of things. So those are happening. But for the people in other country, especially for those from US, they have like they have USD. They have their I don't know how much is it. Does it cost for? Is it cost for a cup of cappuccino in your country? But it might be, I think, about it might be a lot to us. If you're willing to support, it might be a lot to us. Even though it is just a cup of cappuccino coffee in your country, for us, it can mean a lot to us in terms of financially purchasing power and also other things that. And also we are fighting this thing, even though we are having a lot of difficulty, we are still fighting this thing. Why? Because as myself, growing up under the military regime for more than half of my life, I know for sure how they can destroy our country economy, education system, healthcare system, all things through corruption and also intentionally or unintentionally some sort of mismanagement, all those kind of things. So we cannot let this happen again to the next generation. That's why we are taking part. And also your leader support can mean a lot to us. So because of that, I would like to I would like to ask you guys to support us. Even just the price of a cup of coffee. You don't have to do a lot of money, but you can just do just a small thing and then feel good about yourself. And also, that's I think that's the simple message I want to deliver to the people from the US and also other audience.
Thank you, Minyo. Okay, Su Sui, what are your thoughts on how we can help with the situation?
Yes, I just would like to add to the manual, which is a very important point, misconception in the situation in the ground, the people, especially in pro-military group, they make up the story with false information, especially women human rights defenders. So women are targeted as by using strong as a political weapon by intimidating all women human rights defenders. So just last a few days ago, there were 5 people jammed from the building. I hope you know this news already, because the military surround them with the heavy force. They were running up to the building, on top of the building, and then finally they choose to dead because they jumped from the high building, which is more than 50 feet height of the building. And then there were 4 men, 4 boys, like a youth, and 1 ladies were passed away. So they were blaming only 1 woman, which is they make up the story, false information about the sexual export. This woman is how they have spreading the rumor in the social media, such as like she's used substance abuse, and she also committed adultery. That is why she dared to jump, because she was the one who used the substance. And then there was, like authority committed couples in the jumping group. That is why the like us, forensic case has found that she used a substance abuse, and then there is a sexual intercourse or so on. But in the news, her husband addressed she was just supporting to the youth to fight the hunter. So she just came in and gave some money to the youth group. And then on the way, she just arrived to the building. The hunters were surrounded with a heavy force. That is why they choose to die. So uh, these kind of decisions were made by youth. So this is our foreign hero. They rather die, to avoid the hunter. Because if they are catched by the hunter, they know that they will be killed and they will be tortured as inhumanities treatment of the victims or the youth if they were killed. That's why they just choose to die. So this is a very, very painful, very, very, how to say, like we our people ready to pay for it. Yes.
All right, thank you, Susu. Okay, that about wraps it up for our panel. Now, as promised, we have about 10 minutes left for a Q&A session with our speakers. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a message in the Zoom chat. And if there's a question you would like to ask anonymously, you can also send a Zoom message to me and I'll ask it for you. Speakers, whoever has an answer to the question, can just go ahead and answer it. All right, I see we have a question from Nick. Okay, what role has the U.S. government played in the crisis, and what do you guys think they should or shouldn't be doing? That's a great question, Nick. Anyone have an answer to that?
Okay, maybe.
All right.
Okay, I will go. Okay, the other can join as well. From the government point of view, I think U.S. government has been supporting us, our democracy since 1988 and like previous era. But however, for this time, they also have to be very careful in doing all those kind of things, like because in the past, of course, they did a lot of comprehensive sanction, but that was not really working. However, like for now, one of the most important thing for us to recognize the legitimacy of the national unity government, that is the opposition. That is what we are supporting as CDM movement participant. So for the sanction part, I think they have to think really carefully, because comprehensive sanction. That's complete sanction won't be working, but also they are trying to do targeted sanction, only targeted to the military general and also related business. That is happening. However, the impact might be not very, how to say, very concrete during the short term. However, I think in the long term that might talk a lot, but for the comprehensive sanction, I think that won't be working for the government to do, like given the lesson learned from the 1988 and during those military regime era. That is one thing. Another thing is like to support government to government support, especially with the NUG government. NUG government, that's what we are having right now. So to support the government so they can have diplomatically recognizing the government or any other way of also humanitarian crisis in our country, not only just US, also the other international community. Although our movement has been studying as a kind of political movement, as a kind of political resistance, as a kind of revolutionary resistance. However, right now, because of the situation and also because of the severe retaliation, cutting off the internet, all those kind of things, as you already hear, they are also very abhorrent human rights violation, torture inside the prison, inside the interrogation center. And you already know that, like, if you are the one part of the CDM movement, not only you are legally charged, sometimes they also arrested even your children, even your parents. All those kind of things are very happening in our country. So yeah, those kind of things are very happening. So we are having such a not just a humanitarian perspective, not just a revolutionary democratic movement perspective. We all are having this humanitarian crisis. So I want to urge the US government and also the other international community to also at least to support for the humanitarian access. They have to find a way to do that. In doing so, of course, the military government has been disturbing, and also they are not easily agreed for you to enter into the country and to support those kind of humanitarian crises related to COVID, all those kind of things. Yet I think they have to find a way in doing so, not just handing over the humanitarian aid to the military government. Not that is not a good way. They have to find some other way how to support those people who are really risking their life, who are having such hard time. Those people, I think, those kind of things they need to be taken into consideration in helping us, our movement, also in restoring the democracy, I think.
Okay, thank you, Minyo. Anyone else have an answer to this question? Okay, all right, so a question from Megan. What has happened to Aung San Suu Kyi, and is she able to speak out these days? Oh, from Bella English, yes.
Okay. But I will answer the question. But she is under detainee. Like she has been a lot of charges. Like military just keep putting more charge and more charge. It was like it was like 5 charges for her, so she has to go to the court. Before like the 3rd week started, she have to go to court always. So this is where she is between. She cannot talk to public like face to face, but she can do it through her her lawyer. So like she will give a little bit message, like for example, take care of yourself. Like for example, pandemic is the 3rd wave is very bad, so take care of yourself. Like basically like that. And then also at the same time, when she is under the detain, like military try very hard to abolish her NLD party. So she will be like, she just give a message like, we started from the people, we work for the people. So like you cannot destroy our party. It's only depend on the people. If people keep like spotting out, we will move on. So like those kind of like small message like really helpful for her. This is how she communicate with the public, Yes.
Yeah, the people.
Can I just add her lawyer also now
being intimidated.
they also the lawyer are warned not to speak the media, and then even the court set up in the private area, not in public. So this is a very limited access information to her, and then she only can give a message one word, one single word, like people should care about the COVID to free from COVID. In the last the message she was sent to the people what if there is people, the Unity Party stay remain because the junta is trying to manipulate Unity Party because they know that they will never win if the party is there because the Unity Party is the only one for people hold as a nationwide. That is why, yeah. So this is very difficult. We are also worried for her health situation
Yeah.
because we don't know how they detain in the situation there. Yes, this is the current situation.
Yeah, the lady herself has been arrested or detained since 1st February, and also she has been denied for any access to direct contact with the anyone at beside her lawyer. As Masusung already mentioned, that her lawyer even being intimidated by the military government to not to talk about divulge some information to the public in interview, in communicating, in reporting to the media. So that is also happening not only to her, the other political leaders, and also almost everyone they already arrested are kind of deny us access to communicate to the public, also access to fair system of justice, all those kind of things are happening there.
All right, thank you guys for that. Okay, so I think we have time for one more question. Okay, one from Nibanthi. Is a social media ban, I assume in Myanmar, still in effect?
Yes, of course.
No.
So now the Inuji, we also set up the campaign called Support for Inuji. So like the profile have to change with the Inuji logo. So the junta also trying to control that. The person who have a profile with Inuji, they were issued the warrant. They are also being listed. So thousands of lists. They cannot arrest actually, but they just went to the people in order to just listen or apply to them. This is how the junta trying to do. But in the other hand, people are never give up. Social media is stay influence to the people. It stay work. Yes, and in UG also using some radio channel via social media. So I just wanted to go back to the first question. What is the roles of U.S. government? We always call U.S. to make military intervention since the coup was extremist violence to the people. Since the extraordinary killing to the people, that is why we request U.S. to come in also military intervention because we know that UN doesn't work for us. With Chinese governments and Russia governments are always there to back up the military. We know that the veto power is stay applying. That is why we ask the U.S. to come and also help us. We know that U.S. is trying to help for us as much as they can, but we still need U.S. has for more because we don't have any power to fight with the like uh, violence and also structures terrorist group. The NUG has also less power because our leaders also trying to engage with the military people in non-violence ways as a negotiation and also reconciliation between among them. That doesn't work. Finally, the result is like this: they kill the people. So we stay need US support for us for it, and then you can also help us to advocate and then to recognize NUG more and more in the international list and globally. Yes, thank you for that.
So can I answer to the question about the ban on social media? Right now, I think the of course, like you might already heard that in the early days, I think we have been cut off from the internet like until April, I think by the end of May or something, like about like 2 or 3 months, we are cut off from the internet. And also yesterday I heard that like in some ethnic areas in Kachin state, they cut off the internet in one township, I think. So what I'm trying to say, like it is in their control. So they can just cut anytime they want, you know, as they please. Because of that, also in the previous question, I forgot to I forgot to add about this point. When you are asking how to support our country, you know, I think it may sound a little unrealistic and also very ambitious. We are also hoping other way to get away from the control of the military government in controlling our internet access, in controlling our mobile data, mobile connection access, all those kind of things. So right now, as Masumi already mentioned, like to be prepared for those kind of communication with the NUG and the citizen, they are trying to run a radio program. And also in other things, I remember in early days of our movement, we has been urging the Tesla company to provide some sort of SpaceX internet access, those kind of things, and also other digital way. So as we already mentioned, like banking system, all those kind of things are really in their control. We are trying our best to get a sneaky way to do so, to get over it. But in the long term, I think if we can have like better internet access from the digital part of digital strategy, like all those kind of thing will also be very good, because in US, I think there are lots of technologically proficient people like IT nuts in other countries. So how you can help with us with the internet access, even when the government ban our social media or internet access, all those kind of things. I think that would also be another thing to, you know, it sounds a little childish, but I think that also need to be brainstormed for the people from the US.
All right, thank you, Minyo and Sususui, for your answers. I would really love to continue this conversation, but unfortunately, we are out of time today. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day to listen to this panel and learn about the situation in Myanmar. And of course, thank you to our speakers for your fascinating stories and thoughts. Before we end though, I want to once again remind you of our GoFundMe. As you've heard today, this money really is crucial for some of these protesters. It can really be life-changing. Please consider supporting the cause. And if anyone has any lingering questions, feel free to contact me at my email, which I will post in the chat. Other than that, thank you all once again for coming, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone. So go to the GoFund. Okay. So are we released?
Megan, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Megan and Kevin, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for coming.
Kevin,
and
will you stop
speaking.
the recording?
Yeah.